Mentally seeing a picture. I had the phone sideways actually when I picked it up. I did notice that, so sometimes it might be incorrect. I have to fix that. Saw a picture right now of. So I had a thought because I had said chief in the last video, and it surprised me, and I wondered, and then the question came into my head. So the end question for the psychiatrist is, I don't know where the question came from, okay? It was just a question. It was in my head. And the question said, why did you say chief? Oh, I can't remember if it said I or you. Why? Why say chief? Why chief? Why chief? That was the question. Chief? No, it was just one word, actually. It repeated the word chief. So I had said chief, and then it repeated the word chief. Yeah, that's how that worked. And I identified that the space in between that, so the Matrix movie led me on to this thing called a deja vu. And a deja vu is a repetition of anything twice. So, in a technological sense, that also includes single individual words that are first read or typed and then heard mentally, unnecessarily after you've made a statement, heard in question form. So, it is a question of doubting oneself. And the only response to self-doubt is, I am. What are you talking about? And so at one point there, Matthew in Barrie, he asked me a question very sincerely, and he said, Renee, where does your confidence come from? And you know, that question really bugged me. I never thought about it like that. Like, not at all. Why would it even come across as confident? What does that word even mean? So I never thought about it like that. And I still really never did. But I've come to understand over the course of my life that confidence generally includes dramatic presentations, such as that scene aboard Air Canada Flight 186 on the 4th of July from Vancouver, 21:55, departing to Toronto, arriving sometime in the early mornings. And then having to be escorted off the plane by 3 Peel regional officers, who then told me outside, oh, yes, of course you're allowed to record on the airplane. I didn't. Nobody told me. I mean, the stewardess inside, she just spent 6 minutes ragging at me. Please stop recording. Please stop recording. Please stop recording. Have you seen the video? And I felt so bad for that stewardess. I was like, Sarah, this is about your job. You're going to lose your job, girl. I mean, you can't do this. Sarah, can I have some water? Please stop recording. Please, Sarah. So you can really have that whole video. Like, really. It's at AC1. AC2. AC1 is me pre-planning it, and then AC2 is .2dream.ca. AC2 is Sarah from Air Canada. So this is a little bit longer one, not a short. But just to let you know that the passengers now do have rights to. Well, the passengers on board the airplane do not have a right to privacy like they previously thought. That's the message. Because, for example, okay, in that second video, there was actually a passenger in seat 34F who stood up, turned around, and shouted at me and said, that's a threat. And that was after he threatened me. It's a very odd coincidence for that trick to come here, hey? He's just turning around though. But anyway, I and at this point, it doesn't even matter if he said, I'm going to threaten you, or that's not a threat. I mean, when I heard it the first time there, when I was rewatching it, it kind of to me sounded like he said, that's not a threat. That's what it sounded like to me. So I'm just saying, it doesn't matter if I misheard him. Doesn't matter. The key word is threat. Okay? If somebody is feeling threatened, such as he would have been then, right? He would have agreed with the Air Canada stewardess, and he would have said, I agree with this woman. I feel threatened because you are recording in my space and my actions, which I didn't expressly give you permission to record. That's the current belief system. You do not need permission to record if you are recording on your own personal device. Your physical body has the ability of memory, which is to bridge 2 points in time, which means it is a non-linear temporal ability, which means you're actually not your body. You have now built for yourself a medium into which to record the events of this reality. Eventually, it will become a worldwide recording network of all behavior everywhere consistently, and it will be an awesome, amazing presentation of what truly consistent life is. Basically, think of us like ants, an ant farm, in a telepathic home. So it's just the ants, and then when they're looking out the window, they're actually seeing their own mind. But it's so far away, and their eyes are like so googly that they're seeing all their own reflections, and they're like huge, and they're like, oh my god. And eventually the ants just kind of come to it and say, oh my god, we are the logical AI operators of our body. This AI that we've been fearing on the internet doesn't exist. We are that. We are teaching ourselves, making things more consistent. And in the process of doing so, we're filling in the gaps with sometimes creative ideas. There's a lot of us that are in agreement with that one, Megan. So, oh, yeah, well, that's going out to the, okay, so just not to confuse us, okay? There's a Megan and there's a Megan, and, you know, forget about which is which, okay? Megan, Megan. So, one of them is the psychiatrist at Vancouver General Hospital. She's the one that ultimately had me forcibly injected on the 2nd of July, which is why the psychiatrist on the 4th of July so quickly bought me the $933.93 airplane ticket to Toronto on the hospital's tab. Same day, including even the taxi ride. So it was over $1,000, I'm sure. And they didn't even get the option to carry the extra baggage. I had to like argue with the Air Canada stewardess, check-in counter Karen. Just not argue, just like politely steer. Please let me on without charging me for the extra bag. So Karen did that. Thank you, Karen. And then Air Canada stewardess Sarah. Well, I mean, Sarah, if we're honest and you're on my side, then we're teaching passengers about passenger rights right now, and this is the quickest, most fastest way to do this. And girl, you gotta understand that I was just as honest as you are, and I was locked into that drama with you, same as you, and I knew you didn't want to be in it when I saw your eyes well up with tears, but you were still repeating, please stop recording, like a broken robot, because I am trying to introduce a new governing system of consistency conforming to the current plan of AI, which the inventors of all of those kind of ideas have in place on planet Earth. And they've let the backroom governments in on the deal already. So it's not a money exchange at all. No, this is actually different from money. They were actually arguing with money about taking over China. They didn't want money to treat China like the board game Risk, which unfortunately would have happened, can still happen if Taiwan sends a missile at China, because Taiwan is going to falsely claim that China is overflying their airspace, because in Taiwan's supreme law called the Constitution of the Republic of China, it's actually supposed to be the Constitution of the People's Republic of China now, because the United Nations changed the name in 1971. But Taiwan's a little behind the times on the update. So once they update that, it will be their official law again. So at the time of this speaking, their official law is the Constitution, and in that Article 4, it says that the people who officiated the Constitution, those are the people that own Taiwan. And the date of the Constitution says it was 1947, and in 1947 it was China. All of China owned all of China. And so then we got to ask, well, what happened in 1949? Well, I mean, so Taiwan has a little bit of a weird teaching system over there, you know, Chinese and all that sort of stuff. Please, no offense to the real Chinese people. Okay, okay. This one has got to be coming from up above. To my friends in China, I am sincerely sorry on behalf of everybody in North America who has ever offended you. And I know that we do this continually on a daily basis because we are very prejudiced toward you. And for that, I'm truly, deeply, very sorry. There is, my lawyer once told me don't ever apologize because it makes you look like you're guilty. 5 days after I arrived in Vancouver, he was arrested for running an organized crime syndicate. So, another point against Taiwan. I mean, Taiwan is just confusion all around. So we're just going to let Taiwan go. But to clarify this point about 1949, the guy that lied to the whole wide world about controlling China from Taiwan, his name, Generalissimo, it means like Grand Marshal. He was like the General Grand Marshal, and he didn't want to lose his job. Didn't want to be voted out of like Supreme Everything office. So he, that fear began way back when. I mean, he took over from Sun Yat-sen in about 1926, and Sun Yat-sen was the guy that was declared the grandfather of China in both Taiwan and China. So not declared, but acknowledged as. So, and then get the light behind me here. So, that guy, 1949, Taiwan guy. You heard of the Shanghai Massacre? You heard of the term to Shanghai someone? That's where that term comes from. Well, it was from him in 1927 when he killed a bunch of human rights activists who were trying to better the working conditions of sweatshop workers in China. And most of them were unarmed, and he went and he killed them all. And because he feared that they were communist supporters, so then the communist supporters that were among them decided, oh gee whiz, we better we better defend ourselves against this guy. This guy's a raging lunatic. So that's how the whole Red Army started. I mean, the Red Army literally started to defend China from this one man that ended up going to Taiwan and then lying to the world about. Talk about the ghost of Hitler, hey? Like really, like this is extremism. But anyway, he kept the island in a state of martial law for the rest of his life and stayed boss of the island. And Taiwan calls that the era of white terror because of rampant bribery and military corruption and stuff like that. And that's sort of still happening over there also. So, but on the up, they are one of the most crowded places on earth, and to be existing as a functional crowded city, you have to have your stuff really organized down. So what my wife was telling me this morning was for the 2024 Olympics, the Taiwan government has actually opened up the MRT stations in the major cities to allow just regular people to watch the Olympics, so that anybody who wants to watch the Olympics can just watch the Olympics. Now this is in addition to, while I lived there, that their goal was already to be like completely English speaking by 2030, and to have an island-wide free Wi-Fi network, so you don't even need to pay for a Wi-Fi plan, in addition to not needing a telephone number. I already don't have a telephone number because I didn't need one in Taiwan. I'm now back in Canada here, and for me it's like even slower life than it was in Taiwan, and I thought life in Taiwan was pretty slow. So like, this is dinosaur stuff. Like, you guys have no idea. There was a video the other day. I had to open up a can of peas. Okay, first of all, they don't have peas in Taiwan. Well, they do, but it's hard to find. Anyway, I had to use an actual can opener to open a can of peas. I remember in Taiwan, I was shopping with my wife, and I was so happy that I found baked beans. Really wanted baked beans. Except the company that put the baked beans on the shelf didn't put an automatic can lifter on the can. So I'm looking at the can thinking, how am I going to take it home and open it? And so I remember writing the company, I said, you're out of your mind selling this stuff in Taiwan. You're the only can on the shelf that isn't automatically peel open. What are you doing? And I'm sure that they probably got the news like, automatic peel cans in Canada? No way. There's zero peel cans in Canada. And in Taiwan, there's like 0 can opener cans. Okay, so then, behind the times or not, Canada, twist tops on beer bottles. Taiwan, no twist tops. You ever wonder why that is? I mean, you make the stuff that's worse for you easier to open in Canada, and in Taiwan it's the exact opposite. That's the trademark of a functional society. Let me just tell you that, okay? This is how backwards Canada has it. It's not just one level, it's like on all levels. So we're gonna fix that. Just share this blog. I'm gonna smoke another bong.